What's up, guys? It's Richie Rich back yet again, and this time I'm going to be bringing you a review of the 90s classic TV series Hanging with Mr. Cooper. Be sure to check this out. So like whilst going through my collection, I chose five different ones. Not like the best of like the my video collection. I just wanted ones that I just thought were just just stuck out to me, and ones that probably no one's reviewed so far. So what I'm planning to do is like at least once each week in the Black History Month of Feb. I'm gonna do like one review a week, So hopefully, if I get time, I can do one next week, and so on and so on. Yeah, but this one we're gonna do Hang with Mr. Cooper. So let me give you a little history about this. Like the first time I actually saw this show, this came out. I know this came out during the 90s. It was roughly around that time when Fresh Prince of Bel-Air exploded during the 90s. Will Smith became this like super phenomenon, and around that time you had a lot of like I don't know if it was completely because of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, but there was a lot of like black sitcoms were the thing then, because like shortly after Fresh Prince you had the Martin TV series. You had I believe In Living Color was in 90 was around that time. Living Single was there. What else we got? We got the Sinbad show was there. Family Matters, of course. So there was just plenty black sitcoms. And some that are really rare that you can't even get on DVD nowadays. It's some of them have just been lost in time. But there was a mad influx of black sitcoms around that time, because I believe it was there because it was a way to compete with some of the other sitcoms like Friends or Seinfeld, which is a general like a white cast, what I mean. So they had to push these TV shows for like more ethnic stars, to break through, rather than pairing in Friends as just like a guest star, and not really having their own shows, So that's why we got so much of this, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Martin, Family Matters, and that. So yeah, so I actually first saw this around the time, I think it was either the late 90s or early 2000s. The funny thing about it is they didn't this wasn't shown on like black television network. This wasn't on BT or like comedy, like a black owned network. It wasn't on that. This actually appeared on Toonami, which was crazy. This was like the Cartoon Network's subgenre channel, what I mean. So like Dragon Ball Z, and like what else appeared on that, like Cowboy Bebop, the Batman animated series. It appeared on that for some reason, and I was scratching my head. I was like, why is this show on Toonami? And it was like after a time, I watched the episodes, and I really got into it. The first thing when I just watched this show, it just reminded me a lot of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. It was like yeah, like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, because it had that same kind of fun feeling of like a TV sitcom that didn't really take itself too seriously. This, much like Fresh Prince and even a bit like Martin, it wasn't like Different World, which Different World is one of the biggest, one of the best like black sitcoms. Not even just black sitcoms, one of the best TV shows ever created, But that one has very much, it has plenty of morals, it's trying to like convey plenty of messages, where this one is just more, fun, that kind of family entertainment show. Which, so like when I first saw this show, I just automatically like gravitated to it. It was just like it just had this kind of drawing appeal to it. So it's like any like young black person growing up during the 90s, and that they could relate to so many things with this show. So let me actually tell you a bit of the plot. what the story revolves around is Mark, the main actor of the show, the main what the shoot series is based on is of Mark Curry, who, if you don't know, he was a popular comedian who appeared on this hit show, but he was also on Def Comedy Jam, which was the stand-up comedy show produced by Russell Simmons and that. So where like all the great comedians who have come out, like even now you got Kevin Hart, but like Chris Tucker, Maya Lawrence, Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock, Jamie Foxx, Bernie Mac, Steve Harvey, all of them were on that. Mark Curry was also a comedian on that show as well, and he did stand up in completely, stand up in everywhere as well. So I think they presented this show to him. This was actually made during the early 90s, so I believe it was 1992, and it went on for 5 seasons to 1997, and that. But what he tells the story is like he is someone who tried to make it to the NBA pros, but he was unsuccessful. He wasn't able to make the cut and that, so he has to change his plan, and he starts working as a substitute teacher. Whilst he's like grinding and working as a teacher, he supports himself as a school teacher, and ends up having a house, and he has to share it with two roommates who are played by Dawn Lewis, who plays Robin Dumas, who is a music teacher who works in the same school as Mark Cooper, and also Holly Robinson, who plays Vanessa Russells in the show, who I believe she's a stock accountant. She works a corporate job and that, and this is all set in Oakland, which I believe this is where Mark Curry actually grew up. His like life story. He actually grew up in Oakland and that, but it's very terrific where you see like how their dynamics play. Mark Curry, Robin, Dawn Lewis, and Holly Robinson Pete. So like you got these like young adults working in the lives of like young African Americans during the 90s and that. So it's just very cool, and it's such a humorous show. Even the first episode where God rest his soul, Alan Thicke, Robin Thicke's father, comes in, because what happened was this actually took over the Growing Pains show, which Alan Thicke was the lead star of the Growing Pains sitcom, which I believe ran from 1992, 1980s to the late 1980s to the early 90s, just before Hangin with Mr. Cooper. So this was like this was actually the one to precede it, and it's so funny. On the first episode, Alan Thicke actually comes into the actual set of Hanging with Mr. Cooper and that, and they're breaking the fourth wall. Him and Mark Curry and Alan Thicke are breaking the fourth wall, and Mark Curry said, "Oh, we're replacing the show now. You've been cancelled and that." And Alan Thicke was like, "Yeah, if you ever need a white guy, no," which is just hilarious for the first episode. You kind of know what you're getting into. It's a show that doesn't takes itself too seriously. It's just trying to have fun, which I just found amazing. The one I actually have with me is the first season, the season 1, and I honestly believe this is actually the best of the 5 seasons, because what happened was, due to the success of the first season, they actually changed some of the characters. Dawn Lewis, who also played Jaleesa in Different World, I'm not kind of sure, I think she may have been replaced, but they went more for like a family friendly kind of show after the success of the first season. So Dawn Lewis was replaced by the actress named Sandra Quarterman, and they also brought Raven-Symoné, who was originally on the Cosby Show. She was that young actress who was, she was like in a lot of like black sitcoms. She even guest starred in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and that. But they basically were trying to make this, from season 2 onwards, they were trying to make it more of like that Cosby Show / kind of Family Matters TV show and that, which it is still good, but I really do prefer season 1, because you've never seen that before, like a male substitute teacher living with two female roommates. You know, it was new at the time, it never been shown, but the whole family thing was shown. It was heavily shown in Family Matters. It was shown in the Cosby Show, even a lot of later years, like My Wife and Kids and that. You know, so that format has been carried on of that whole black family sitcom thing. And I also even forgot to mention Omar Gooding, who is Cuba Gooding Jr.'s brother. He also was in this show. You know, in the first season, he was one of the students that Mark Cooper would be. You know, he was the teacher of like the classes that Omar Gooding took. You know, the subjects he took and that. But in the season 2 and onwards, like he got a more prominent role. Marquise Wilson, who played that annoying kid, you know, who lived across the street. I think his dad was the landlord of the house that they stayed in and that. So he always kept walking into like the house, always bothering Mark Cooper and that, you know. And he played a more prominent role in season 2. But yeah, I just think the first season was just it was just an excellent attempt on making a new, different black sitcom that no one had seen around that time, you know. And it's like I said, there was so many at that time. This one was able to differentiate itself from, like, you know, the likes of, you know, Living Single Martin, the other big black sitcoms at that time. So it was just it's a fantastic show. I mean, so like, without giving too much away, because I really don't want to spoil it, man, because anyone who is a fan of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, they would definitely dig this show, man. It has a lot of that flavor, you know, that Fresh Prince has. You know, Mark Curry is a very great comedian. He has so much charisma, you know. He has a lot of them traits that people were attracted to Will Smith and that. So I would definitely you know, recommend this to anyone who likes them kind of you know, TV shows from back in the day. But one of my favorite episodes from this show, it was actually the two-part called The Warriors, which Mark Curry actually tries to get back into the NBA, and you know, he attempts to train to get like a position on the Warriors, a professional team, and also like Charles Barkley, you know, the NBA legend from the 90s. He also appeared in one of my favorite movies, Space Jam. He gets starred in this episode, and the two-part of The Warriors, you know. So it's a very underrated show, you know. Like a lot of people probably don't even know about this, because, you know, when they talk about black sitcoms in the 90s, you know, Martin and Fresh Prince are always like the two top heavy hitters and that. But this is another great one that just as equally as good as Martin or Fresh Prince and that. So I would definitely recommend it. Oh, let me not forget about it. I forgot to mention about the theme tune, the intro to the Hangin with Mr. Cooper. You know, the Cooper. Amazing. This is when you know, TV sitcoms, and not even just TV sitcoms, movies in general, they used to have that like kick-ass, you know, catchy soundtrack that you would always remember, you know. Like when you hear Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, you already know, you know, like Will Smith rapping and that. It's like, it's catchy and it's timeless. This also has a super duper theme tune that goes for the season 1, and they also change it season to season, but it's just a great melody, you know. It gets you ready for the show you're about to watch and that. But it's a great, you know, like there's a lot of guest stars that appear in this, you know. Marcus Allen, John Stamos appears, Sean Wayans, Chris Tuckers, and everyone who was like hot at the time, they appeared on this show, you know what I mean? So I would definitely check Hangin with Mr. Cooper out, you know. If you haven't, you know, I got this off Amazon for only like around, I think it was 20 pounds. So it's not too much, you know, and it's like, you know, it's a great vid to add to your collection and that. So guys, thanks for watching my review on Hangin with Mr. Cooper. Stay tuned, because I'm going to be doing another review for Black History Month very, very soon. This is Richie Rich signing off. Peace, 2 fingers.